We were talking about this earlier in the hour, Steve, about the American League compared to the National League, where even though the record for Baltimore and Tampa is incredibly impressive, it feels like Atlanta and the Dodgers are a step above. Atlanta's a 100-win team. The Dodgers are going to get there. And I guess what I was leading to was that it feels like the American League is more of a crapshoot, even with all due respect to Baltimore and Tampa. Baltimore's still young. They've stubbed their toe a little bit in September. Tampa's missing some big, big pieces on their roster. Do you have the same impression? Are you projecting more of a crapshoot in the American League?
Well, I think there's more parity in the American League of really good teams. I think the National League, you look at the second, third wild card teams after the Phillies, and I don't see any of those teams being legitimate teams that can make a run. I look at the Astros, if they're the third wild card team, the Blue Jays, the second wild card team, those teams can win the World Series. I don't look at the same thing in the National League. Here's the thing for the Braves. I mean, Max Fried's on the injured list. He could be eligible for the division series dealing with a blister. They lost Charlie Morton to the injured list. He won't be available for that division series. And so they're looking at Strider and Fried and Bryce Elder as their three pitchers in the division series. For the Dodgers, Dave Roberts has named Kershaw and Bobby Miller as games 1 and 2, and probably Lance Lynn as game 3. There's nothing about that starting pitching that's overwhelming. Kershaw is a 5-inning guy right now. And I don't love the Dodgers bullpen. So those are two teams where the offense has kind of led the way. And that isn't always the best way to win in a short series in the postseason when you're facing the other team's dominating pitchers. And so I think in the National League, the Brewers are a scary team with Burns and Woodruff and Peralta in their rotation, and big arms at the end of the game, and Devin Williams, a dominant closer. They need to score enough. The Phillies, with Nola and Wheeler and whomever else they throw in game 3, which is, Lorenzen or Ranger Suarez, they could be really good too, and a really good and solid offense. And we saw what they did making a run to the World Series. So, I think the American League's more wide open. And honestly, I look at Toronto, and I will tell you, as I said, I've talked to executives around the game. People are afraid of the Jays because you need good starting pitching to win in the postseason. They have that. You need power arms to come out of the bullpen. They have that. And they can play some solid defense, and they have, what is a lineup that when it's clicking is a scary team. And so I think that the American League is more wide open just because I think there's more parity because there's a lot of good teams in the AL.